Hey guys, it's Laura. Welcome to my channel. Today I am scrap lifting Tazhiana from my Wild Hare Kits design team. She is a fellow member on the team, and I showed you a close-up of my phone screen there. That is the layout that I'm going to be scrap lifting of her. And I am going to be using my September Wild Hare Kits for this scrap lift video. And I am super excited. She had so many gorgeous, wonderful layouts to choose from. I chose this one because it had so many elements going down on it, and it had so much mixed media, and I wanted to get really playful and fun. So it was the perfect choice for me. And I thought about using a white background paper like she had, but my white was too white to go with the creams in this gold foiled paper here. So what I actually ended up doing was choosing a pink background paper, and then I put white acrylic paint over most of it, because the white acrylic paint dries to be a lot warmer than like a pure white paper. So that ended up going with my creamed papers there a lot better. And the first thing I'm going to do after I got my background painted was to go through all of my different papers that I got in my Wild Hare Kits this month and choose ones that I thought would look really good with that photograph that I've chosen. And I'm going to tear lots of little strips there. At first, my strips are a little bit too thick, but I will go back and tear them down to be a little bit thinner. That way I can fit more on my paper. And I end up with a total of 5 different pattern papers, I believe. And I think Tazhiana used 4 different pattern papers. And this is the point where I realize I've got a kind of monochromatic theme going on here, and I need to bring some more color onto my page. So instead of just the black and the white and the gold, I am now grabbing some colorful papers to add to my strips down at the bottom. And this photograph that I'm using is of my guy and me. It was a professional photo shoot that we had done a couple years ago, and I really love it. It's pretty, and it's printed on a gorgeous linen textured photograph paper there. It was professionally printed. So you'll see in the close-ups at the end what kind of texture that photo has, and I really love it. So I've got my little patterned paper that I mixed in there with a color, and that's going to bring a lot of the colors from this other Maggie Holmes paper that I am fussy cutting. That's going to bring those colors from the top of the page down to the bottom. Now, Tazhiana had beautiful fussy cut butterflies on her page, and I ended up choosing this really beautiful bird paper from Maggie Holmes to fussy cut, and I will use those scattered across my page in the same way that Tosh used butterflies on her page. And I think we may have actually both used Maggie Holmes for these layouts. So we weren't working with the same exact papers, but they were from the same collection. And that worked out really well. And it made my finished layout look very similar to hers, I think. And I love that feeling that you get when you get to scrap lift somebody and your layout in the end is totally beautiful, but it's a lot different than theirs because your paper selection is a little bit different, and I'm going to end up using birds instead of butterflies, and then of course my title, photograph, all that stuff will be different. But it's an easy way for a layout to come together because it takes all the guesswork out of it. You just kind of follow the steps that somebody else already had down for you. So you can see I ended up adding another pretty paper there to my mix, and that one is a lighter blue color. It's kind of like a teal aqua color, and I brought that one in. It was another 6x8 Maggie Holmes pattern paper, and that was also from my Wild Hare Kits. Pretty much everything in this layout ends up being from my Wild Hare Kits for September. And I brought that one in because some of my birds were that really pretty aqua color, and I didn't have any color on the bottom half of my page that matched that. And I really wanted everything to flow together and to match. So I did that so that way I'll have that same color on both the top of my page and the bottom. And then I realized that Tosh had some mixed media, like some really faint splatters of paint on her paper. So I went ahead and I did that with both pink and light blue on my page. And I think in the finished layout, it ends up being extremely subtle. You can hardly tell that the paint splatters are there. They kind of fade into the background. But it was another element of interest that I really loved in her original page and then in my finished page that I scrap lifted. She has a really gorgeous ruffled crepe paper down underneath of her photograph, and I didn't have any crepe paper. So what I ended up doing was using regular paper in this blue color, and I accordion fold it back and forth really thinly. That way it will end up looking kind of like ruffled paper there, and it's not the same, but this is a great example of scrap lifting and still using what you have on hand. So I didn't go out to the store and buy crepe paper, which I totally could have, but instead I made what I already had on hand work, and I think it ends up looking super beautiful in the end. I do stick my photograph up on a couple of layers of foam tape. That way all of the fun textured paper and stuff underneath of my photograph can fit. And at this point, I realized Tazhiana had another element that I do not have on my page. She had a really gorgeous circle wooden frame that had a pom-pom trim around it. And I do not have that frame pack from Maggie Holmes, but I do have this beautiful white pom-pom trim in my stash. So I grabbed that out, and instead of making a circle frame with it, I just use it to line the same side of my photograph that she had put her pom-pom frame on. So hers kind of sat off to the left side of her photograph, and now my pom-pom trim is off to the left of mine. And again, another example of just using what you have on hand and making it work when you scrap lift somebody. And in the end, those little changes end up making your layout totally unique to you and a lot different than the inspiration you originally had. And I'm using some flat stickers for my title. I wanted to keep most of my texture there. Down on the bottom, I have so many layers down there. And so I use 2 different alphabet stickers here. I've got these black ones from Me and My Big Ideas. And then I also have these really dark blue ones from an old A Beautiful Mess kit. And you can see I ended up cutting that eye for wings out of the sticker paper because I had used up all the eyes. So again, using what I have on hand and just making it work. And then for the rest of my title, I realized I was running out of space for alphabets. So I just hand lettered it, kind of wrote it down on my page. It's not pretty or anything. And then I realized that the text was like too thin to really read. And so I go back over it with an even thicker pen there and I make it pop some more. And I also did not have enough birds down on my page. So I fussy cut some more birds and I add those as well. And now I am going to get into the fun finishing touches for my page. Obviously, I've got to use these enamel dots that came in my kit this month. They are from Echo Park and the colors are stunning. I love this really pretty enamel dot pack. It's gorgeous. And I love how the colors match that Maggie Holmes paper really well. And then I also have this sticker pack. This is one of mine. And I use it to grab a couple of little stickers to finish off my page there. Those leatherette tags that I have to the left-hand side of my photograph, those were from my Wild Hare Kits, and I just used some glue dots to glue them down to my page. And then I'm going to finish off my page with some sequins. And here I have some close-ups for you. You can see how fun this layout is, how much texture it has. It's got rose gold foil there on the leatherette tags, the pom-pom trim, sequins, enamel dots, paint splatter, torn paper, fussy cut paper. It has all the things, and I really love how beautiful and handmade this layout looks in the end. You can really tell that I had a lot of mixed media involved in it and a lot of playtime involved in it, and that's so fun for me. I hope you are feeling inspired to create. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will link Tazhiana's original Scraplift inspiration photo down below, and I will also link some of my creative courses down below if you're interested in learning how to scrapbook with me. And I will also link the Wild Hare Kits down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Bye!